This PSA was brought to you by the Peter G Show.
You may have second thoughts after the show.
Don't drink the Foster. We're really talented. We should get Oscars.
Just pick out a car, for Christ's sake.
No, my name is Peter. Yeah, I want. Here's good.
Yeah.
Adam Perry.
I need to get back in the genie bottle.
Louis from Pennsylvania, you're on. He likes it. It's showtime.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad, Peter G Show.
Hey-o! Hey, everybody. How is everybody doing? Wow, I'm actually nervous. I don't get nervous very often. Just, wow. Wow. Hope everybody's doing well. Been on, I don't know if you've noticed or not, some people like, you were gone? It's like, yeah, it was a hiatus time. Everybody needs a little bit of a vacay break. We do an average of about 44 to 46 shows a year. And it was that time. So we took some time off. But we're back. Good or bad, we're back. Love me or hate me, I'm back. Working hard at it. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be a great year of shows here on the Peter G Show. Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show. Ooh. Tonight's going to be, let's get back into the saddle night. That's why there's no guest tonight. But it's going to be informative. And I don't know if anybody caught the last show of the year last year in 2023. You know, not holding back anymore. Whatever happens, happens. We get bounced off of YouTubes or this and that, whatever. You know, I'm tired of being censored. I'm tired of, you know, they just can't handle it. Can't speak anymore. Oh, this boy's speaking. If you want to join me, great. I love you. If you don't want to join me, great. Still love you. I'm not for everybody. Not everybody's cup of tea. A lot of people can't stand what I say. A lot of people may not agree with what I say, and they'll still listen anyway and take it into account. Just leave it into the back of their heads for further reference. That's the way to be. We can't all, you know, I don't need everybody patting everybody on the back. It's great if we can all get on board and all be on the same page, but there's a lot of people that are at different levels in life. Some people pay attention. Some people pay way too much attention. They're down the rabbit hole. Some people are just floating through life and have no clue, but need to have some insight. And that's why I'm here. All different aspects. But this year especially, it's an election year. We're going to go there. I swore 8 years ago when I started, wasn't going to talk about this stuff. But let's face it, folks. We're a mess. We're a friggin' mess. And it blows my mind on some opinions, but that's okay. You know, enlighten me. If I'm wrong, I try to bring people that are even, you know, more well-versed on topics and subjects. I'm just a show host, but you know, you kind of learn something doing this. And if there's something I'm missing, I open the phone lines up. You're more than welcome to call and enlighten me. Change my mind. I'm in. Boy, oh boy, am I. It's going to be we're going to try and take it easy. I'm going to try not to get riled up tonight because I want to go through a bunch of things. I have a lot of videos and things I want to go through tonight, talk about a certain topic. But in the meantime, before we get started, I'm just starting out laying down the law. I'm open to hearing what you have to say. I hope you'll listen to what I have to say and the guests I have through the year. But if you don't like it and you think I'm wrong, you need to speak up. See, that's the problem. Most people don't speak up. They just go, he's a stupid son of a bitch. And I hate that guy. Tell me why. Tell me why. Man, what is going on here? Sorry, one of the phones. I want to know why. Anyway, all right. As always, I want to tell you this too. Where are we? Tonight will be a good night for calling me and telling me what's on your mind or what you want to know or what you think I should know, or it'd be a good night to start off. But don't forget, this coming Saturday night, Sunday, yeah, the moment you've been waiting for, daylight savings time. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of happy people. We're going to get some more daylight. We need it. You know, people love it. It's good for you. We need it. Well, it's starting again. So fear not. It's that time. It's that time. Let's see what we got going on here. Pensacola in the house. Thank you. That's one. Oh, man. All right. It's going to be like I said. Anyway, so daylight savings time. Enjoy it. You turn your clocks back. I wish we could turn the clocks back to when we didn't pay $1 million to go to Walmart. But these past 3 years, don't get me started. I'm going to be all over the map tonight. I can just tell. I'm going to try to stay on key, on point. But there's so many variables to what I'm going to talk about that all roads lead to one. And again, some of you I'm going to piss off, and most of you are going to go right on. But again, that's okay. It's okay. Daylight savings time. Also, I want to inform you, where are we? I got so much stuff. I'm getting it back together again. Next week, I always tell you this so you'll gear up. Wednesday, March 13th, I'm going to have author, psychiatrist, Dr. Doug Bremner on this show. All right? He's a researcher, writer, professor at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. And he's an expert in PTSD and drug safety. This guy was on our show about 1.5 years ago because he wrote a book with his sister, who's a lawyer, about true crime. But this time, he's been, since 1.5 years, almost 2 years ago, since he's been on talking about that, he's written a couple of books, and he's had some books previously too. But when I saw this book, it just killed me because he's really against the pharmaceutical industry and what the drugs do and the repercussions and the side effects and all that kind of stuff. He's a sensible psychiatrist. And he came out with this book, Pimps, Whores, and Chiggers. And it just caught my eye. I go, holy crap. That's a hell of a title. And he talks all about the pharmaceutical industry and the money-making industry that this is. And we're going to have him on this show. And then, since he wrote that book, there's book number 2. It's a series. Pills, Shrills, Psychiatry, Wars. So we're going to talk to him all about this stuff. He's very well versed. He's an easy guy to talk to. And again, he cares. Wednesday, March 13th. On this show, starting out with taking care of your head, psychiatrist Doug Bremner. All right? So you're going to want to tune in for that. I'm telling you. I know what he's about, and he's got it together. So tune in. Tonight I'm going to talk about, I mean, since I've been off, I've been spewing, just dying to get on and talk about all these things that are going on in life. But a big thing that's affecting us in so many ways, besides the other things that are affecting us in so many ways, is the border. I've talked on the border last September. I've talked on it before. I am very aware of what's going on. I try to keep up. For those who are not too up to speed, you might want to listen, because if it's not affecting you yet, it's going to. Migrant crime. 10 million people have crossed this border in 3 years. It's unheard of. It's prior to 3 years ago, there was a fraction of that, and it was getting less and less. And again, we're all about immigration, but legal immigration. If you don't think that this is hurting us, the migrant crime, Laken Riley just murdered, Venezuelan illegal alien, border crosser. He's accused of this. We're going to, how do I want to put this? I don't want to step on my phone. He's allegedly accused of murdering Laken Riley. If you haven't seen that on the news, you need to just wake up a little bit. She'd still be here, but there's all kinds of things. The Venezuelan government's letting all their crooks and criminals out of their jails, going, you go to America and you can get out of here. Saves them a ton of money. I'm going to talk about this stuff. Yes, there are some people trying to get a better life and this and that, but it's all coming out of your pocket. And for the ones who try to come over here legally, that takes years to come over through lawyers and getting visas and immigrant green cards. You know, what the hell? They could just throw that crap away and cross the border and come back over again and get, well, I don't even want to get started yet. I'm going to get started. But you know what I'm saying. And if you don't know, stick around. Stick around. And again, I'm not mad, but I'm so concerned for you, your children, your family. They're getting slaughtered over there on the borders, the towns, and filled with it, everything. So we're going to talk about that tonight, okay? And I'll even open up the phone lines. If you disagree or want to add to it, please. And if you disagree, change my mind. But we'll talk about it. And I got videos I'll play for you and things like that. All that fun stuff. Tonight. That's what's going on tonight. Where are we? Yeah, I'm trying to stay in time. But as always, it doesn't always work that way. Here's what's going to happen. I want to take a minute, and we'll be right back. But first, I want to hear, yes, we had a talk over the holidays, and they still know what I do, and they're still going to be here. But we're going to take a quick break and hear from our good friends over at Clean Star Products with their DX1 driver money-saving fuel additive. Got to get back on that. Money-saving fuel. Who doesn't want to save money? And I even could tell you more when I get back, but I'll be right back, okay?
Hello, I'm Tyrone Thompson of CleanStarProducts.com. This is DX1 Driver in the news, and here's what our friends have to say.
So I'm here to recap on the DX1 I've used. I put it in the oil and I put it in the gas. While I'm using it just for about 3 tanks. Cleaned everything out. I got every ounce of power back in my truck.
When Jared's truck was new, it had a lot of power. Then over time, it began to slow down. He got it all back with our DX1 driver program.
Something you got to see for yourself. It's a great product. It's affordable. And it blows all the other additives and esters out of the water.
DX1 driver is the finest oil in the world from a California environmental company. It goes into the fuel system and the oil. It's the only green grade product qualified for the carbon credits program, giving you better fuel mileage, lower emissions, and increased horsepower. So join the fuel savings revolution today. Go to CleanStarProducts.com/shop.
That's right, folks. Clean Star Products. All I can tell you, and I can really tell you now because I put it to the test on something, but it works. Okay? You spend a little money to save a little money. But I just recently, we had a big meeting right after the first of the year, and we tested it out on a high mileage truck that I own. It's a great truck. Never going to give it up because the new ones suck and they cost a fortune. And we put it in there. And right, I say after the first tank, they recommend you put about 4 tanks worth to clean out your engine, and put one of these little bitty bottles. This is a truck and SUV bottle right here, okay? Put this in the clean oil change, last the whole oil change. Then every time you fill up your tank, you put in one of these. They claim do it for about 4 tanks, full strength, and then you can back off on it. You don't have to use as much, but continual use. This is look at this little bitty bottle. You put this for your average size car right here. One in the oil and then one in the tank. 4 tanks, and then you can probably use half every time you put a tank. But I noticed the difference within the first tank that, like, when I stepped on the gas, it's a big, heavy truck. And when you stepped on the gas, I didn't have to step on it as hard to get it going where I used to put my foot way more into it. And it's not psychological because I know the way that thing breathes. I've had it since it was a baby. And it works. Clean and green. It passes California air emissions and all that kind of stuff. So if it can pass California, I'm doing an extended little testimonial right here because I want you to go to www.cleanstarproducts.com. Go to their website. But if you're interested and you got questions, call them. The president of Clean Star will talk to you personally. Ty, he was on that commercial. Call him, make an order, mention the Peter G Show. You will get 5 bottles for the price of 4. That's right, you heard it here first, folks. Mention the Peter G Show, and they will deliver to you 5 bottles for the price of 4. And any questions you have, he's that committed to this company, and he knows what he has, and he's going to talk to you personally. It doesn't get any better than that. Who the hell talks to you? Nowadays, you can't get anybody to talk to you. They want this texting customer service. You text, you don't have a real person on the phone. You get a real person on the phone here, folks. So do it. All right? www.cleanstarproducts.com. Tell them the Peter G Show sent you, and they'll give you an extra 25%. Add an extra bottle into your order, okay? I like it. All right, let's take a sip. Did I tell you it was really great to be here? And when I tell you these things, I'm not kidding. I love being here, and I love you for being here too. Salute. Woo! Back in the saddle. Smooth. I said, you know, it's funny. You take a little bit of time off and you just kind of, as natural and, you know, that this is sometimes to me, but sometimes it's like, oops, I need to stay on top of my game. All right, so here's what's going to happen tonight. Our border is really bothering me, and I want to enlighten you. For those of you who may not have a clue, I saw something on Facebook that the person was in total disbelief, and again, I don't care if you're a Trump hater, a Trump lover, a Biden hater, a Biden lover. I'm going to spell some things out for you. And the bottom line is, up until 3 years ago, we had one of the most safest, least illegally crossed borders in the history of the United States. Okay? You don't want to believe it? Don't. But the problem is, everybody's headline readers in the news does not. I'm going to talk about that too tonight. The news is bullshit. I've never thought in my lifetime that, you know, you trust the news. You're supposed to trust the news. But ever since 2012, when Obama repealed the Smith-Mundt Act, it was a law that said that they couldn't use propaganda. They couldn't just feed lies. They'd get in trouble for it. Well, he repealed it. Why? To cause all this chaos that slowly, one step at a time, is getting more and more chaotic. Now the news says whatever the hell they want. I really got it. I got it out for that Rachel Maddow. I don't know how the hell that woman sleeps at night. All for the money. I'd love to hear her say something that's actually true that comes out of her mouth. And I got the videos to prove it, but they'll ban me because a lot of them are about the jab. Oh, real quick. These guys they are throttling me down and not paying attention. I noticed the views are down, everything, because they're not showing me like they should. Please keep subscribing. We can beat them at their own game unless they completely ban me. Please. Thank you. I know it is. Because I'll tell you, even right now, there's probably little to know that they have ways to hide the people they want to hide. And that way it looks like I'm doing poorly. Believe me, I'm not doing poorly. Stick with me. It's going to be a nice, good road, and we're all going to be in this together. But tonight, I'm going to talk about the border. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little video. It's a little bit long, but it's an introduction as to what is going on currently with the border and why with our current administration. Because if you watch the news, you're going to hear the exact opposite. But again, after this video, I'll open up the phones on and off. And if anybody's got any questions or wants a rebuttal, they can. They can, but I got a lot of videos to get to tonight. It's going to be a long show. I don't care. I don't care. I love you. I want this stuff to be out. I want you to know. All right, so here's what's going to happen. This is Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. I don't give a shit if you love Republican, you hate Republican, you love the Democrats, blue, red. I don't care. I'm into the common sensibility of life. Common sense. And there is a lot of nonsensical crap going on, and it depends who you believe. But your brain should be able to tell you to make some better sense judgment. Say, I don't know. They're telling me like we're doing great, but I can't afford to, I can't afford to pay attention. I can't feed my kids. How are we doing so great? How is this possible? that we're doing so great, because we're not. They keep telling you that, but we're not. But anyway, this is going to be an introduction as to what's going on in the border and why we're having problems, because one side says they won't let me do this. The other side says you're full of shit. You have all the power in the world to do it. I'll let Speaker Mike Johnson explain this. And this is going to be like an introductory to where we're going, because I got all kinds of stuff to talk about when it comes to this border, because I'm pissed, because it's going to affect every single one of you if it hasn't already, and it's going to get worse. Worse. God forbid, we'll talk about, Lake and Riley and all these things. Could have been your child. And there's stuff that goes on that you don't even hear about daily throughout the whole country. So check this out, all right?
Thanks to all of you for being here. There is an inescapable fact that all the American people know, everybody. It doesn't matter what political party you're in. Joe Biden and his administration have created a catastrophe on the border. Everybody knows it. The American people are demanding that we do something about it. We're trying. As you all well know, many months ago, the House Republican majority passed H.R. 2. That's our Secure the Border Act, which has all the necessary provisions to get this catastrophe under control. Why did we pass the legislation? We passed it because the president has refused to use his executive authority to reverse the catastrophe that he used his executive authority to create. That's the fact. We're desperate to try to get this done. We've been trying for 9 months, longer, to reverse the damage that they've done. The president has refused to act. It's been noted this morning, today, the Homeland Security Committee will take the next necessary step that's available to us, marking up and passing articles of impeachment for Secretary Mayorkas. He has presided over and helped usher in the largest illegal immigration catastrophe in our nation's history. It's not even close. Again, this is a self-evident truth that everyone knows. He has willfully undermined America's laws. He's made false statements to Congress and the American people. He made false statements to me personally in the Judiciary Committee many months ago. And he has handicapped law enforcement. Just last week, we received word that more than 302,000 illegal immigrants crossed our border in December alone. 302,000 in 1 month. It continues. But that barely made headlines. Why? Because that's the new normal under Secretary Mayorkas' lack of leadership. And it is the result of a collection of deliberate policy choices by the Secretary and this administration. In fact, we've documented over 64 specific actions that the President and his administration have taken to undermine America's border security, starting within hours of President Biden's inauguration. Normally, presidents, as you know, use their first few days in office to set the tone for their entire term. He did that. On his first day, President Biden effectively dissolved our borders, and Secretary Mayorkas rolled out a welcome mat to millions and millions of illegal immigrants. And that's what we've seen for the past 3 years. It was just 4 months into his term as the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security that Mr. Mayorkas appeared before us in the Judiciary Committee. And I told him on that day in a clip that many people have seen that he needed to prepare his resume, because it became immediately apparent to us that he was not doing his job. In fact, he was undermining the very system that he was supposed to administer. Now the president, this is laughable. The president is trying to flip the script. He wants to try to blame House Republicans in some way for the national security and humanitarian catastrophes that he caused. I can't make a full judgment on the National Security Supplemental, as the full details have not yet been released, but based on the news reports of this agreement that have been leaked, that Secretary Mayorkas, by the way, helped negotiate, it seems the new authority to shut down the border would kick in only after as many as 5,000 illegal crossings happen each day. Why? Why would we do that? Illegal immigration is illegal. It is against the law. Why would you tolerate 5,000 a day before you sought to suddenly enforce the law? That would be surrender. The goal should be 0 illegal crossings a day, not 5,000. And all the president's authority should be utilized at 0. Many of you may know about this letter that we received, an alarming letter dated January 17th by former executives of the FBI, and this has been circulating. It's addressed to me and to Chuck Schumer in the Senate and to our committees of jurisdiction, the chairs of Intel, Homeland Security, and Foreign Affairs, and Homeland Security and Government Affairs in the Senate. And it begins, dear Mr. Speaker and Chairman leaders, as former senior executives of the Federal Bureau of Investigation with deep experience combating dangers to the nation, we write to express our concern about a current specific threat that may be one of the most pernicious ever to menace the United States. And it's signed by all these former officials of the FBI and intelligence. Listen, this is not a game. We took 64 House Republicans down to Eagle Pass, to the epicenter, the Del Rio sector, South Texas, January 3rd. And we talked to the border officials there. We talked to the sheriffs who were given the impossible task of trying to patrol these areas that they have jurisdiction over. We talked to the state officials in Texas, and what they told us there is that at the Del Rio sector, by way of example, 60 to 70% of the people that cross there are single adult males within these ages, maybe 18 to 40. We saw this with our own two eyes. We talked to the people on the ground. We have an unmitigated crisis. The president can take executive authority immediately, and he's pretending as though he does not know that. It's outrageous. The American people are demanding action. We are going to deliver it in every way we possibly can, and we'll continue on that course.
That's just a warm-up, okay? So now it's the he said, she said, the blame game, okay? No, it's their fault. No, it's their fault. This is what they do. This is what they do. But figure it out. I mean, look at what's going on. Even the mainstream media who want to tell you that everything is okay can't anymore. It's getting so out of control. And believe me, it's the tip of the iceberg. They can't anymore because there's so much crap going on. Look at in New York. They're beating up cops and just getting away with it. They know they can get away with it. They don't have any respect for this country. It's just going to be, the floodgates are open. They're all calling each other saying, come on, freebie. We're going to be screwed. It's all your money. If you pay taxes, I don't care if it's $5 or $5 million, that's your money. And for somebody, $5 is $5. It's a lot of money. You know, but you're giving it away. Meanwhile, I'll get to it. In Chicago, this one's a little bit older, but this is the truth. You know, Chicago's screaming now. Chicago is a sanctuary. These peeps. Let me regroup. Chicago is a sanctuary city where they go, we welcome everybody. Well, they welcome everybody because they weren't getting anybody. So meanwhile, when Governor Abbott down in Texas, they have hundreds of thousands of people just laying in their streets, littering, stealing, all kinds of crap going on the border. There's murders going on, all kinds of stuff, theft. He started shipping them to these sanctuary cities, and all of a sudden the sanctuary cities are screaming, crying. So here's a little clip of Chicago. You know, they're having a shit fit, and rightfully so, because reality check, fellas.
Tonight, officials warning Chicago is approaching a breaking point. Tents full of desperate migrants lining Chicago's iconic Lakeshore Drive. Migrant shelters inside O'Hare Airport. A total of 17,000 migrants showing up since last August, and officials expect 1,200 per day to keep coming. Now Chicago is building sprawling tent camps to get migrants off the streets of places like this ahead of the cold winter months. Democratic Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker slamming President Biden for not doing enough, writing, the federal government's lack of intervention and coordination at the border has created an untenable situation for Illinois. The White House blaming Congress for not acting and saying they've accelerated work permits and provided $1 billion to cities nationwide.
I don't want them there.
But protests here are growing.
To have the government come in and dump 300 people right next door to me, it is not fair.
The Latino Pilsen neighborhood was the first to build a shelter for migrants, and they're now preparing a new shelter to take up to 1,000 more. Community leaders tell us they want to help migrants, but they're worried about resources for poor Chicagoans, too.
I'm concerned because of the slow response for the federal and state government.
When winter comes, not only will you not have enough room for migrants, you also might not have enough room to take in some homeless people who live on the streets here in Pilsen, American citizens.
Absolutely.
We met these migrants sleeping outside a police station. Stephanie tells us she boarded a free bus in Texas because she thought Chicago had a refugee camp. Some of us have been here weeks, she said. She told us she's desperate for a job to support her 1-year-old son back in Venezuela.
The Texas governor says he will continue busing migrants to sanctuary cities to relieve border towns.
Okay. So yeah, there are a few people who come here, they're trying to do something, but majority are not. They're here for everything for free, and it's your money. And now these guys in Chicago, New York, same thing. New York's Mayor Eric Adams, he was sanctuary city, and he's having a shit fit. He started raising hell, and they calmed him down. They must have threatened him somehow because he got real quiet. He went to the border. He knows. He wants to do his job, kind of. He's a Democrat, so, but he even realizes it's like their city has gone to shit. Nobody wants to be in New York. The theft, it's out of control. Again, if you're not in the environment, it doesn't affect you, so you don't feel it, therefore you don't care. But it's coming to your neighborhood soon. I promise you. You can't get 10 million people and not notice it. 10 million people. 10 million people so far. They opened up the doors. Come on in. New voters. We love you, Joe Biden, for letting us here. Joe Biden is not paying the bill. You are. They get free everything. The normal people, veterans, homeless, I'm going to get into that. They get nothing. They're out on the streets. People who don't even care about this country coming in, they get everything. I'll go down the list on that. Just can't help it. It's the truth. So stick around. We'll keep doing more. Speaking of just walking over into the border, we don't know who the hell we're getting through the border. They keep saying there's tons of military-aged men from China, Iran, the Middle East coming over. People that don't like us. You only need a few. You only need a few to cause havoc. How many did it take to take down the World Trade Center, if you believe that's how it went down? How many? Not many. Something's going to happen because they can't keep track of these people. The gotaways, they're only telling you what they got. But the gotaways are, through the darkness of night, slipping in, fentanyls, the rape, murders that are going on. All that stuff is coming right in because the Border Patrol can't do their job, patrolling the border and keeping people out. They've turned into administrative secretaries, and they hate it. They hate it. It's going to affect you. I'm not angry at you. I'm just trying to wake up. It's going to affect you. I don't care if you're in the Midwest or whatever. These people are going to find their ways anywhere they can go. Anywhere they can go. Anywhere they can go. And they will come into your area. There's going to be some good ones. There's going to be bad ones. And I'm going to prove that point. But that's the way it is. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up in case anybody's got something to say while I'm doing this. And I'm going to play another video. But and if the video is playing, I'll answer your call. You just hang on, and then we'll talk about it. But that's what I want to do. 259-7983. If you got something to add to this, whether you agree or disagree, because I'm telling you that it's these past 3 years and this current administration, they're on a mission. They are disrupting and ruining this nation. And you say, why would they want to do that? That's a good question, because they want to break everybody down to where we're dependent on them. They don't want you to be independent. And this is, it's called the Declaration of Independence. They don't want that anymore. They want to where you need the government. Depend on them. So they can tell you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Go get those electric cars. They want to take away your stoves. They want to take away your air conditioners. Oh, you say, oh, that's baloney. They're trying. They tried. I mean, enough people raise hell. There's not that many of them. If you say enough is enough, believe me, we'll be okay. But nobody's speaking. Not nobody, but a lot of people are thinking it, but they're going, oh, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to like start a bunch of shit. You need to start a bunch of shit, or you're going to be in a bunch of shit. It's that simple. 818-259-7983. Here's what I'm going to do. We don't know who's walking over the border. That a known terrorist came over the border. This is just one. This is one who was bold enough to say, I hate you guys. I'm going to screw you up. He's basically saying this. And he walked right over the border and then made his statement. I don't know whether they found him, caught him, or whatever, but there's tons of them that are coming through being silent. This guy's got balls. He wants to be known because he's going to take credit for whatever's going to go down. And it's not if, it's when. I promise you. I hate to say this. It could be anywhere. Wrong place at the wrong time. Anywhere. Check this out.
If you are smart enough, you will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're going to know who I am.
I hope you can read that. Sorry for those who may be listening to this on audio podcast in the future. It was all writing, telling about this terrorist. But the thing is, he was in prison for 12 years in the Middle East. And now he got out. And now he walked right over the border and telling you, you don't know who I am. And he's here to mess things up. He's going to mess things up. He's going to get all his buddies together, and they're going to eventually coordinate something that's going to hurt people permanently. Promise you. He's not coming here because he loves this country. And that's just one. That's just one. This is happening every single day. Every day. Again, they're going to Chicago's, New York's, Los Angeles. Every place. Every place. And don't think just because you might not be a major city that they're not coming near you. They're going to go everywhere to be under the radar. I promise you. Speaking of making a mess of New York City, where are we? Oh, I missed it. Okay. I'll get back to that. The illegal immigrants coming across the border are ditching their passports, their IDs, their money. They're coming in, and that way when the Border Patrol picks them up, they go, who are you? They can tell them anything they want. How are you going to identify them? Small fraction you'll be able to identify. And this gentleman is going to tell you all about how the hell that's happening and why that's going on. But here you go.
I want to show you guys just a small fraction of what I found on my trip from San Diego to McAllen. This was from 3 locations, from Jacumba, California, Yuma, Arizona, and Lukeville, Arizona. You've got IDs from all over the world: India, Peru, Guinea, India. We've got China, Greece, Ukraine. IDs from Africa. These are from Mexico, permanent resident in Mexico, but they dumped that. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Money from all over the world. We've got Ghana. We've got Senegal, tons and tons from Senegal. Money from Turkey, money from Argentina, money from Mexico. IDs from Nepal, IDs from China. And a lot of people ask, why would you dump your IDs? There's multiple reasons why you might dump your IDs. These are perfect examples. Permanent resident of Mexico, permanent resident of Spain. If you've already been given asylum, you don't qualify for asylum in America. So some of them will dump them for that. The other big one is if you are coming over as a supposed family unit and your IDs don't match. That's a red flag that you're probably not an actual family unit. So they'll dump their IDs too. If you're bringing children over and the information about the kid doesn't match your information, they'll dump those too. But the crazy thing is the money. Wads and wads and wads of money, currencies from all over the world. And the bottom line is, the reason they do this is because they know that they're going to get your money when they come to America. All of this because of Joe Biden's open border policies. And the worst, I just got this. This is breaking information from a contact in Border Patrol. Just sent me this. This is a document that was found in Jacumba, California. It's written in Chinese, and a couple things to note. It says where to go, 3 different locations. There's 3 different locations in Jacumba. They've got the addresses here. It tells them what to say. It tells them what to say to Border Patrol. If you go on the back, though, this is what really gets me. It actually has the organization that created this document right there, Al Otro Lado, the communist leftist illegal immigration organization out of San Diego, printing these documents in Chinese and getting them into the hands of illegals as they're coming across our southern border, telling them what to say, telling them where to go. These organizations are traitors to our country. And this is the same organization we found evidence of them creating fake marriages so that they could create more immigration fraud. All of these organizations need to be prosecuted. They need to be defunded immediately and prosecuted. And of course, we can't forget about Sukhmandeep Singh, who we got in Lukeville, Arizona, who has a permanent resident card from Italy, from India. Of course, he doesn't want you to know that, because that means he doesn't qualify for asylum in America. Sorry, Sukhmandeep. You don't qualify. And it all goes back to the Open Borders left, training them, aiding and abetting. And we have more evidence of it right here, directly from Al Otro Lado and the American Bar Association. These guys are directly aiding and abetting.
Don't believe me? You think he's out there lying? That stuff is sprawled all over the border. I mean, why would they keep all that? They come over the border, regardless of whether you're good or bad. There are some good people that are just hoping on the American dream because they're told and they want to believe that, even though they're going to probably struggle more than they ever have over here, because it's not easy. But for right now, when you walk through, hi, free phone, free healthcare, free housing, $2,000 a month or more. Start having babies, get more money. They're bragging about it. These young guys are coming over, start having babies. They're bragging about it. They're going to live on the system. Where's the money come from? You. They're not going to do nothing. There's a whole bunch of people that can care less about coming here to go to work. They want to come here because they heard they can live off the system and get out of their crap country. And they can do just as much havoc here. They're already doing it. Rape, murder, theft, no respect for the law, our law. It's out of control already. And I'm telling you, we haven't even gotten started. I wanted to play you now the video of the known terrorist that came over the border to say, here he goes. He comes right over the border. These people are dumping, and they're not even trying to hide it. They just throw their IDs and all that money. I mean, somebody should collect all that money and they go try to trade it for American money. My point being is, we're screwed. And if you disagree with me, 818-259-7983, you can call me and tell me I'm wrong. But this is all because of what's going on in our current administration. They opened it up and said, come on. They're doing this for a reason, and it's beyond what you could fathom. They go, why would they do this and kill our country? They got reasons. They don't care about you or me. They're sitting pretty. They don't care about us. Collapse the country. Get you dependent. There's only a few, unless you're absolutely wealthy to where it's not going to affect you because you can afford to buy things. I don't know how people are affording to eat. I don't. It is so friggin' expensive. And we're giving all our money to these people. And they're coming over just like that. No accountability. Meanwhile, what about all the people who are trying to do it legally, who are paying money and going through the process? Well, I mean, tough. Why should they go through all that when they can just go back and just come over? I mean, there's consequences to pay coming over. Talk about that too. But now I want to talk about New York. Because New York, there's a fisherman over there who made a video, and their city is getting... New York City was one of the greatest cities in the world. I loved walking down New York City. I mean, back when I was a kid, it was a little rough, and then they cleaned it up. Giuliani, you love him or hate him, he cleaned it up. And I loved going on those streets and going and getting a slice of pizza at Ray's, right there on the street and just screwing around. It's a shithole now. You're in fear for your life. especially in the subways and everything. There's crazy people. They don't care. They don't care. People standing there with needles in their arms, taking a shit right on the side of a building. I hate saying that. I'm saying it because you need to know. Because a lot of people aren't paying attention, and I get it. I get it. I totally get it. But you need to know that we're getting ready for a world of hurt. We are. Anyway, but this is Captain Chuck. And if anybody has a problem with vulgarity, I suggest you plug your ears for the next minute and a half because he's had enough. Guy's a hardworking guy. He probably grew up in that area in New York, and he's had enough. So here, enjoy.
Captain Chuckweed here, and fucking fish. New York City's fucking falling apart. You can't even sell fish because of the fucking Democrats and our governor putting us out of business rapidly. Nobody wants to go out to dinner after dark in New York City. This fucking country, fuck. It's fucked. It's fucked because of the fucking assholes in office. You fucking pieces of shit, freeloading scumbags. Most of you are fucking Democrats. There's some Republicans in there too. New York, we get the lowest fucking limits on the East fucking coast. The lowest. 40 cents a pound for fresh fish. Go buy fucking grapes. They're fucking $6 a fucking pound. Potatoes are $1 a piece. This is fucked up. It's a trickle-down effect. Destroy the fucking city. Good job, fucking Democrats. Come fucking tell me you want Biden and a fucking Democrat. I'll punch you right in the fucking mouth and knock you out. You'll be getting fucking free teeth from your fucking government. Fuck all of you. I'm sick of you. Hope you all fucking die. Pieces of shit.
I love him. I love him. He's down there in the trenches. You might not like how he put it, but I don't see any other way how to put it to get the message across. We're screwed. They're screwing every place. They're just breaking down what we had. Amazing cities turning to shit. He makes a valid point. Ain't no lies there. Again, instead of watching the news and believing the headlines, you don't even have to believe me. Just take a little time out of your life and do a little deeper digging. You're going to hear bullshit and you're going to hear truth, and you got to figure out which one is the real truth. But look around you. Go to the store and spend money and tell me how far your $50 goes. $50 goes about as far as $28, maybe $22. Everything has almost doubled. He speaks the truth. On top of that, killing the cities. They're letting all these people in. We don't know who these people are. They're unvetted. We don't know who they are. I told you, a lot of Venezuela talk, because Venezuela doesn't really like the United States. And there's a ton of people coming from Venezuela. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of Venezuelans that are wanting to come here to get out of that shit country. But they're letting all the criminals, everything, they're just emptying their jails and saying, you get out of this country, go to America, and we'll let you go. Saves them a ton of money. So we get all the crap. And if you don't believe me, I'm not saying what I'm going to show you is part of the crap, but he's definitely dug a ditch and is definitely in the news now, and it's happening all over. You don't see it. I couldn't find that video clip that I really wanted, but it's showing major crimes and murders going on throughout this country from illegal aliens, border crossing people. Now, again, do we have stuff with regular people that live in this United States? Of course we do. But now we're doubling the problem. And they're getting away with it. They have immunity. They can steal and get let go, come back to court in 7 years from now. Sure. We're losing. We need to step this up. This is Jose Ibarra. He's the one who's accused, I'm not saying he did it, but he's accused of murdering Laken Riley, that female that was down in Atlanta and Athens, Georgia, going to college, and she was jogging, and they're saying this is the guy that did it. So check this out. And this is just, again, this is one. There's so many of this stuff, and it's gonna get worse because they don't care. They're all out for themselves. They came from a country that was just no rules. If they didn't kill, they would get killed. They're bringing all that over here. Promise you. Check this out.
Is in jail charged with Laken Riley's murder. He is from Venezuela, and according to ICE, he entered the country illegally in 2022 and was later paroled. 11 Alive's Rebecca Lindstrom joining us now in studio.
So, Rebecca, a lot of folks want to know, did Ibarra even, did he fall through the cracks? Was he even supposed to be up in Athens in the first place when that crime occurred?
Well, from what I can tell, if everyone had followed procedures, the answer is no. There are at least 2 points in time that really could have made a difference. According to Homeland Security, Jose Ibarra and his wife entered the U.S. near El Paso in September 2022. After being arrested and released, they went to New York. At that time, immigration attorney Pamela Peinado says Venezuelans had special protective status in the U.S.
It could be political unrest, it could be a national disaster, etc. But we're basically allowing these individuals to stay here for a temporary amount of time because it's unsafe to send them back to their home country.
But in an interview with the New York Post, Ibarra's wife says that before their immigration hearing, Jose was arrested for riding a moped with their 5-year-old son while doing food deliveries. Neither were wearing a helmet. At that point, ICE could have taken Jose into custody, but it says he was released before that could happen. The DA's office in Queens has refused to answer our questions, even denying the case exists. After his release, Jose headed to Athens, where his brother was now living. He was only here for about a month when they were both accused of shoplifting from Walmart. According to the police report, the two allegedly stole food and clothes. They were given a citation and let go. A spokesperson with the Athens Clark County Police told me immigration status is handled during the booking process at the jail. And since they weren't arrested, that check wasn't done. But Jose's brother had been arrested the month before on a DUI charge.
When someone is in an agency or in a detention facility that communicates with ICE, ICE will go pick them up. They usually have about 48 to 72 hours to do so.
The Department of Justice says it didn't know about the DUI arrest until last week, after Laken Riley was killed. I have reached out to the sheriff's office to explain what happened, but have not received a response. Now, ICE is aware of both brothers. I am told Diego Ibarra, the one arrested for DUI and then later for having that fake green card, will be in court tomorrow morning. If he is granted bond, ICE will likely take him into custody. Now, we have heard a lot of talk about sanctuary cities, and today the mayor said Athens is a welcoming city, but follows immigration law, so it's all going to depend on what we learn from the sheriff's office.
Okay. See, even the law, they have their hands are tied. One agency can't tell about the past history of these people. It's like, wouldn't you want to know? They're so overwhelmed, but wouldn't you want to know if a pedophile or a murderer is moving next to you? Which there is laws like that, but the thing is, they're not telling each other because they don't want to start trouble. They don't want it in the news. And then this happens. Like, give them a break. And then this happens. This young lady will never accomplish her dreams because she's dead. These parents, these relatives, these friends no longer have a daughter, a cousin, a sister, friend because of one pit. Now, again, he's alleged. He hasn't been proven guilty, so I'll leave it at that. But because some piece of shit took somebody else out for no reason, because it meant nothing to them, because they came from an area that's the way it works. It doesn't matter. You're just like a dog, worse than a dog. I hate it. I friggin' hate it. It could be your child, people. It could be your friend, your mother, your father, your son, your daughter. It could be anybody. They don't care. Regular crime for people who live in this is bad enough. The way it's been going these past 3 years. There's no repercussions. You go to jail, you get out. That shit's got to change. But this is what's going on. We're adding to the problems. We're pouring more fuel on the fire because we're letting all these people in and don't have any friggin' clue who the hell they are. It's coming to your neighborhoods. I pray to God you don't have to go through what this family is just gone through. And it's happened all over the country. Again, the news just doesn't report it. There's just too much news to talk about. And they don't want you to know. They want you to think everything is going great. These poor migrants. It's migrant crime. They don't care. They come to this country to take advantage of this country, not to become part of the country and make it greater, better. Migrant crime. I'm going to talk to you. We'll hear one more about migrant crime. Here we go.
Laken Riley's murder is really intensifying this debate about border security.
Yeah, debate that we've been having and sharing here on News Nation for quite some time, Nicole. And the information that the House Judiciary Committee is seeking here on Jose Ibarra is information that we were able to break on Friday. It's information that they want to get the documentable proof that we've been looking at and that we've been reporting from our ICE sources, like when and where he crossed, right? We know he crossed into El Paso in September of 2022. Now, sources also tell me if he came from Venezuela and didn't live anywhere else on the way here, it would have taken him about a month to get here. Now, in his processing, he was only in CBP custody for 21 hours. So they're going to want that information as well. As Joe mentioned, that is something that they're seeking, is what that processing looked like. Now, I also checked back on that processing, Nicole, and I saw that he actually did claim fear in that processing when he was paroled. Again, only in custody for about 21 hours. He was with a group of people, a woman and child in that group as well. This House Judiciary Committee will likely try to get information on that group that entered with him as well, and who those individuals were and any of their criminal histories from Venezuela. Also something that we don't have access to and haven't had access to, because as we've been reporting, Venezuela doesn't necessarily play well with the United States, right? They stopped taking back these repatriation flights as well, Nicole. So a lot of issues here that the House Judiciary is really going to be sifting through here when it comes to 26-year-old Jose Ibarra. Again, he was arrested in New York, and then that's when he went over to Georgia and linked up with his brother Diego. Diego came in April of 2023, and then they were residing together in Athens, Georgia, where, of course, this unfathomable tragedy took place. So a lot of things that the judiciary is going to be breaking down and asking of Alejandro Mayorkas. They want those details by March 12th, according to that document that we obtained. So, of course, we'll be on this, Nicole. We'll continue to dig into any details we can when it comes to the sponsors, things like that Jose Ibarra provided. We're still digging into some of those details. And if he had a pending court date, that's also something that we need to find out.
It's just a damn shame. It's a shame. They can't keep up. The cops can't keep up. The cops can't even do their job. The Border Patrol, ICE, they're just secretaries. They're not. They can't check every single one. Again, not to mention the gotaways, the ones that don't just walk over to the Border Patrol and say, "Hey, here I am. I surrender. Take me." And you heard them. Even Venezuela, all they got to do is say, "Oh, I'm in danger over there," and we have to believe them. Here, come on in. You're paying for it financially, and I pray to God that things don't get to where it we got problems. We have problems, big problems. And this is why the people have to say, this shit has got to stop. I feel bad for a lot of, there's innocent people in everything. The Ukraine war, as crooked as I believe that war is, based on us, there's innocent Ukrainian people losing their lives and caught in the middle. It's just the way it is. But it's you, the people, we the people, that need to stand up and say, this shit's got to stop. But everybody's quiet and talking amongst themselves, a couple of people, but you don't say something. And therefore, except for the screamers, the ones who are really the 1%ers who scream so loud and they're completely out of their minds, but they scream loud and it sounds like a majority and it's really not. And they're whacked out of their minds. The common sense people need to speak up. What do you have to, you have a lot to lose, actually. So I say, what do you have to lose? You have a lot to lose if we let this stuff keep going. Okay? A lot. Now I'm going to play you a video on a sheriff's association. They had a meeting and they're pissed because they can't do anything, and our fearless leader won't even meet with them to hear their problems, what they're encountering. Now, this video I'm going to tell you right now, the audio for the first 39 seconds, it's only like a minute and a half video, but whatever. But the audio is screwed up. I couldn't fix it. I tried to find another version of it. They had issues on them, but I want you to hear this. So try to listen to it. Listen closely and try to listen to it, because he's making a very valid point. This is our law enforcement saying, we're screwed. We are screwed. This shit's got to stop. So try to check this out. Listen closely. It's worth it.
My name is Rick Jones. I'm the Butler County Sheriff, Butler County, Ohio. I just came back from a national sheriff's training in D.C. 2 days ago. We were briefed by the FBI director, Ray, the director of the FBI, and several federal agencies. There's 3,300 sheriffs in the United States. The President of the United States refuses to meet with the sheriffs of the 3,300. We have a hierarchy. We have a president. We have a vice president. President of the United States refuses to meet with the sheriffs. He also refuses to meet with the police chiefs of the United States. They have a hierarchy also. He refuses to meet with them to talk about border issues or talk about crime that's going on because of the border issue. We were also told by Mr. Ray, the FBI director, that there are more red flags going off now than before 9/11. Okay? When I say red flags, meaning people that are here in this country that are wanting to do harm to us. We were also explained we're bombing 2 countries right now. 2 countries. These people do not like us before this started. There's thousands of people here from other countries, 160 different countries. They're here not to be our friends. Some of them are coming because they're wanting to come here to the best country in the world, the way we see it. Some are coming here to do harm to us. And we were told by the FBI director, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
In summary, I hope you were able to hear the first half. If you had a hard time, again, I apologize. Don't be writing me letters. I totally understand. The audio on that original clip was screwed. Okay, and I'm sorry that the pictures aren't bigger, because these are the formats. Is this stupid 16:9? The vertical format everybody uses. It sucks, and you can't make them bigger. You can't do it. But what they were saying was, our president, our vice president, nobody of authority wants to meet with these sheriff's associations and the chief of polices of the nations, this nation, of the cities and states of this country, to hear their grievances on how out of control everything is. They don't want to know about it. The FBI director, as much as I hate that guy, is flat out telling them, we got problems. Red alert, flags going off, shit's going to happen. It's not if, but when. I'm not making this stuff up. And again, if you might say, I was really trying, I didn't want to go. Fox News has a lot of stuff. People hate Fox. People, I hate them all. Okay. CNN, biggest one, MSNBC, but the biggest, you want to really be misled and not know really what the hell's going on and get brainwashed thinking everything is great, go watch CNN and MSNBC, because those guys have lost their minds. They just tell you whatever they're told to hear, to say, and make you feel like, everything is great. Everything is not great. And again, do your homework. I get more accuracy from videos from TikTok than the real news. Now, but I shopped around. I kept looking, News Nation. I kept trying to find other news sources so that way nobody's going to start saying, oh, everything you play is from Fox News. Well, I need somebody to tell what's going on. And believe me, Fox News flip-flops too. I get pissed with them at times. But there are reports that are fairly accurate as to what's going on in the border and other issues. But we're in trouble. They're saying it, not me. Do your homework. If you got something to say to me, say to me. Change my mind. I want to show you, this is what I love about video, because video goes on and lives on forever. When we used to make records, the story when you're recording, and maybe let's say as a drummer, I was a drummer, and if you're saying, man, you're waving, your time is not consistent, and they would say, dude, tape don't lie. In other words, what's on that tape is what went down. Well, video's the same way. And these were some of our fearless leaders from the past speaking about keeping the border closed and legal immigration. And here's all your favorites, because these guys are, in my mind, have changed their tune and ruined us too. But here's a time before they were, before all this was going down, when they were actually saying the truth, at least speaking what they should be saying now. So check this out and put it, take this to heart, because this is the way it should be. Unfortunately, all these guys have changed their tune and they don't care. See, they're sitting so pretty now. It doesn't matter what happens. They'll always survive it. It's you, the people, we, the people, who are going to suffer. Here's your infamous previous leaders.
Ultimately, our nation, like all nations, has the right and obligation to control its borders and set laws for residency and citizenship.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country.
We are a generous and welcoming people here in the United States, but those who enter the country illegally and those who employ them disrespect the rule of law, and they are showing disregard for those who are following the law.
People who enter the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally.
The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers.
We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing the line of people who are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants in this country.
Illegal immigration is wrong, plain and simple.
We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
Yeah, they're actually right. They're actually right. What happened? What happened? How did they 180 and now they're just tanking us? 10 million that they know of have come over the border. 10 million. They're flying. And to go under the radar and not say stuff, they're even using planes, and instead of going all the way to the border, they're picking people up in their own countries and flying them here. Over 320,000 that they didn't want to say anything about. They said they wanted to keep it for anonymity, for security, so they didn't have any problems. It's like bullshit. They're just flooding, and they're taking them from planes at your expense. You're paying for it. You're paying for it. I'm paying for it. And they're going to whatever cities they get dropped off and just blend in, try to blend in. But they'll all come out. They can't blend in. They have no clue about this country. This just thoughts. And the drugs, the sex trafficking, the human trafficking, you name it. It's all coming. The children that are disappearing at the border, they don't know where they are. If that doesn't break your heart, I don't know what does. But then again, for those who don't understand it, aren't going to feel it because you don't get it. You go, nah, that's not happening. It's like, yeah, it's happening. Go see Sound of Freedom, that movie. That's not bullshit. True documentary. Scraping the surface. Sound of Freedom. Go ahead. If that doesn't open your eyes, I don't know what the hell will. God bless them for doing it. We're over time, and I don't care. I'm not going to finish until I finish. But we're not going to be real long. This is serious business, people, because these are our lives getting affected, and it's not getting any better. And you can say how much you hate Trump all you want for those who despise the man personally, but he had his thumb on people's necks when it came to border crossing. He told Mexico, remain in Mexico. He kept those out, and he told the president of Mexico, if you don't do this, and he put tariffs on things because they're making money. I promise you, excuse me, the Mexican government's making money off the cartels. They're paying them off. They're all making money. The cartels are making more money than they've ever made in the whole history of all this crap. They're making a ton of money. Trump, love him or hate him, new business. And he doesn't take it personally. I know you don't like him personally. I don't care. But his policies, don't tell me we weren't better off 4 years ago. It's just absolutely not true, and it's bullshit. But man, so many sensitive people. I don't like him. He's horrible. I don't need you to like him as a person. I need you to friggin' like him as he's doing well. Again, they all have their agendas. I'm not saying he's some great savior, but so far, he proved, and he was fighting with tooth and nail against our own country for 4 years and still making a difference. Imagine if they all came together, but they don't want that. They don't want you to succeed. They want to break down the middle class, and that way we're dependent on the government. And then it goes to this whole socialism crap and one world, new world order, World Health Organizations. Don't get me started. That's a whole nother show. But it's all one big ball that they're shooting for. God, if you got children, I'd be very afraid. Be very afraid. You need to speak up because there's only 4,000 or 5,000 of these people making these decisions. It's a whole lot more of us. And when we decide to say enough is enough, they're going to get the message. But if you stay quiet and you don't want to rock the boat, you're going to go off the cliff with the rest of the sheep. I, too, 10 years ago, didn't think anything was wrong. I thank God that I started paying attention a little bit more because it's our lives. I have a child that I want to grow up in a decent world. Okay, this is one of your favorite people, and we're going to talk about national border security. And this is your friend and mine. If he doesn't fall asleep or trip on something.
President Biden is considering what's being described as major new action on the border as more voters in this election year list the migrant crisis among their top concerns. A White House official confirms the potential executive action from the president would place new restrictions on asylum seekers.
One possibility would be to bar migrants from seeking asylum if they cross between U.S. ports of entry. Now, he is considering, I'm told, a wide range of options. This is just a possibility. No final decisions have been made.
Asylum seekers could be required to prove they need to remain in the U.S. for reasons such as a medical emergency or fear of torture in their home country. The new action, if taken by the president, could put him at odds with his own party. Some Democrats compare such a crackdown to Trump-era policies. But critics say the influx of migrants, which includes a growing number of people from China and other countries, poses a national security risk. Meanwhile, in Texas, where resources are stretched thin, new legal action. The state's attorney general is now suing the Catholic nonprofit Annunciation House, which shelters migrants in El Paso, accusing the organization of human smuggling. Annunciation House says it's helped hundreds of thousands of refugees over the last 4 decades, saying, if the work that Annunciation House conducts is illegal, so too is the work of our local hospitals, schools, and food banks.
It is a national issue, and it should be dealt with as a national issue and not just simply your border communities.
As for President Biden and any possible new action, the White House says there won't be any true reform until there's action from Congress, and House Republicans recently killed a bipartisan border security deal.
I got one word. It's a compound word, though. Bullshit. Bullshit. Biden saying, I need more money to do things. Give me the power. You've got to have seen a lot of those. Give me the power. He had the power. He had the power with a pen. The first day he got into first day of August, I like it. The first day he got into office, he turned around the policies that was keeping a clamp down on the border. Took them away. And he can easily, and now he's getting so much pressure. You're going to hear dribbles that he's kind of doing what was already in place, but he keeps saying he can't do anything because he wants more money so he can feed money to all their buddies that are making all these money-making organizations. It's all about money. Even these, I hate to say it, even these Catholic organizations and all that, they're making money. A nonprofit is one of the biggest profits that there are. I've really learned a lot about nonprofits. There's no such thing. Bullshit. And this border security is a big issue. Everybody's making money. He wants more money to hire more border patrol, this and that, but they're not going to be doing their job. He wants secretaries to help them come in. And then they say, well, we'll only let, after a certain point, we'll only let 5,000 in a day or this and that. Baloney. Baloney. That none should come in unless they come in legally. We got problems. I'm just telling you, bullshit. Bullshit. And here's a guy who's going to tell you on how we are being played, because all these problems with our homeless and our veterans, obviously they could have all been solved. Here, check him out.
See, I hope now that a lot of you soft skulls are waking up. Homelessness, poverty in America was never a thing we had to put up with, because now it is exceedingly obvious that the United States of America could have housed every single homeless person, veteran, disabled person, and they also could have provided them with money enough to live and stay off the streets, because they can seem to find the money and houses for illegal immigrants. As a matter of fact, do you know that they are building entire neighborhoods for immigrants for free? So see, this is how bad we have been betrayed by our own government. There was never any reason for any American to ever be homeless, ever. They could have solved the homeless problem overnight, like they solved illegals being homeless overnight. Fuck this government, man. They need to go. Fuck this whole government. They all need to go. Voting ain't gonna do it.
The man's right. The man is absolutely right. Think about it, because if they can give all this money, phones, healthcare to the 10 million people that are coming in now, we have a fraction of homeless people and veterans out on the streets, the mentally ill. They could all be taken care of. Where did all this money come from? And it's coming in every month. These people are collecting $2,000 a month. All that extra money, that's for 10 million more people. So if you have the homeless, the veterans, the mentally ill, the sick that are out on the streets, they could have been all taken care of. And we should have money extra to fix these cities. They're building complexes for these people. They want voters. They want to go, thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you. And I'm telling you, then when they have full rule, again, I don't care about Republican, Democrat. Don't start bitching at me about it, because I was a Democrat until I saw the craziness. I'm going, I can't do this anymore. Now, if the other side starts getting nuts, I'll jump again. I don't care. I want the lesser of either evil. You only have a couple of choices, unfortunately, but we have to speak. If you don't know this is happening, how the hell are you going to know what's going on until it's too late? It's a slow drip. They're pulling one hair out at a time in your head, and you don't notice it because it's only one hair every day. All of a sudden, your hair starts thinning. But okay, some hair fell out. And then further down the road, because you don't feel it, it's only one hair. And all of a sudden, you're bald. And it's too late. You're bald. That's what they're doing to us. And that's a metaphor, okay? Little by little, stripping us down. They're going to be overwhelmed, and then we're going to have nothing. I'm telling you, we're in trouble. I'm going to wrap it up with this video before I do some of the last things for the show. But this is an overview of Congress. For those of you who don't pay attention, I don't care whether you like red or blue or this and that, but this is what's going on, okay? Use your own judgment, common sense. I say it all the time, to figure out what the truth is. I'm trying to bring you what I feel is the truth. If you don't believe me, dig deeper. But please, Take the friggin' blinders off. Please. This is Congress on how these problems could be solved, or at least to start getting things turned around again. Check it out.
December marked the highest number of illegal immigrant encounters in history, with 331 persons on the terror watch list entering the country since President Biden took office. President Biden falsely claims that he needs Congress to act to give him the authority to take control over the border. Let me be perfectly clear. President Biden has the authority to close the border today. He can simply direct his staff to enforce existing laws and reverse the 61 executive actions he has taken to worsen the border crisis since coming to office. I'll continue using every single tool at my disposal, including the power of the purse, to force President Biden to enact meaningful border security reform, such as the provisions we passed in H.R. 2. Any action short of securing our border leaves our nation in peril and our citizens in jeopardy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I hope you listened to that last video, and I'm going to tell you why. Hang on. Ooh. I hope you listened to that last video, because this coming Thursday, which is tomorrow, or unless you're listening to this at a later time and it's too late and whatever, but the State of the Union, President Biden's going to go on national TV to give the State of the Union. Now, the State of the Union is supposedly supposed to be to tell the American people on what accomplishments they have made. Things how Build Back Better and back better, that shit kills me. He built nothing. How our economy is doing. Everything that's growing and doing, that's what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be talking to you about where the country is headed and how it's going. I promise you tomorrow, he's going to be crying about he can't do it, and he's going to be blaming everybody, and plus lying about how great the economy is doing. But you judge for yourself. Again, common sense. Do you feel like our economy is doing better? Do you like paying $14 for a Big Mac meal at McDonald's because Governor Newsom, our California governor, is raising the minimum wage to $20 an hour for a friggin' hamburger flipper? Somebody who mops the floor? Kid's job? You can't afford that. I won't afford it. But he's going to be telling you how great everything is. I'm telling you to use your friggin' common sense. That's going to be a theme for this year, common sense. We're not doing better. Enough is enough. The border could have been turned around by him, but he's going to claim he can't. And you don't know any better, so you're going to believe him. I'm telling you not to believe him. And you don't have to believe me, but dig a little deeper. Again, most people will not take the time. You're too busy playing around. But this is your country, and this is your life. This is your family with your children and all of that. If you want to survive this and not keep going more, look, in 3 years, we have burned everything down. It takes a lot more time to build a building than it does to tear one down. We got a lot of work ahead of us, but you can't stay silent and put your head in the sand. You can't, or shame on you, and you get what you get. Waiting for somebody else to do something. Enough. Enough. I'm going to tell you this. Again, most people are aware of what's going on. A lot of people know that this sucks. This sucks bad. Biden administration, I don't care if you like me or hate me, but it's the fact that they're tanking us. They're tanking this country in just 3 short years. Look around you. I don't care if you think he's more elegant and Trump was rough around the edges. He was tightening up the business. I don't care. He's the only one willing to fight for us right now. I don't see anybody else. I don't trust anybody. I don't even trust him. But I trust him more than anybody that we have a choice of. I do. I do believe he's not letting them get away with everything. I truly believe that. As opposed to these others who just don't care. They want to take everybody down. That's not rich to bail their way out. Stop believing the news. The news, we could have a building on fire and the news is going to say, oh, that was really nice. They did that for a display. no matter how bad things are, the mainstream media is programmed now and getting paid by Pfizer and BlackRock and all these companies that are trying to tank us. They're getting paid to say what they tell them to say. You could be on the street with nothing, and they're going to say, we're doing better than we ever have. And if we don't change this around, we're going to be on the street with nothing. Stop watching the bullshit mainstream media news. They're liars. I can't believe that this country has gone into what they've gone into to think like it's like Iran, state television. They tell you what they want to tell you, but that's what's happened to this country. It's got to stop. I don't know how it's going to stop, but it needs to stop. They need to put that law back into order to where they can't talk bullshit. But for right now, we're getting fed tons of bullshit. Wake up, please, for your own good. I'm not saying this for me. I already know what's going on. Sitting here bitching about it. I'll take the blunt force of it, whatever, if you disagree. Change my mind. Nobody wants to tell me anything because they'll bitch about it and say, oh, friggin' Peter, he's a fucking idiot. Change my mind. You got nothing to back it up with, because I'm telling you, and I'm going to have people on this show through the year that are going to be way smarter than me giving you facts. And that'll probably get me shut down on certain channels. Again, these freaking people, they're the ones about Google. They're all in bed together. It's a shame. It's a shame. What has happened to our country? All right. I thank you. Next week, quick. Wednesday, March 13th. Don't forget, I'm going to have psychiatrist Dr. Doug Bremner on the show, researcher, writer, professor over at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. He is an expert on PTSD and drug safety and all the money making. Again, these pharmaceutical companies are making a killing. They made a killing, especially over these past 4 years. And he's calling a lot of them out with all the side effects. They just pump out stuff. And he's got 2 books, all on the pharmaceutical and counting. He's got another one on the way, too. He's going to be on this show. Smart guy, practical, because he's a psychiatrist. He takes care of all these veterans with all these issues and things like that. And he's against a lot of it. And we're going to hear the pros and cons about what's going on. He's going to be a great guest. He'll be here Wednesday, March 13th. Dr. Doug Bremner, psychiatrist, right here on this show. Don't miss it. Again, I thank you guys for watching. Please, please, please subscribe to the Peter G Show. I need all your support. And if you don't have time to watch the show, I know it takes a lot of dedication. Please just Google Peter G Show podcast. Put an earbud in your ear. You can listen to the show while you're working, while you're driving. I try to make them relatable through audio, but I love when you watch the video too. I really do. I do. It means a lot to me. And I don't do this for my own health, believe me, because I get riled up. And sometimes it's like I could just be sitting around, doing nothing like there are a lot of people. But I'm here because I believe in what I do. And you obviously believe in what I do. And I thank you. This is the first show this year for me. We got a lot of good stuff coming up this year. Please hang around, hang in there. And that's it. My name is Peter G. I want to thank you for watching Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show, every Wednesday, like clockwork. God willing. You need some of that in you. In God we trust. Everybody else cash. 6 o'clock Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. on the East Coast every Wednesday, like clockwork. Right here. You can also catch everything on demand when you want to watch it on all the major streams if I don't get banned from them this year. But just please, support, support, support. I can't do this without you, okay? I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Thanks for hanging with me, and I hope you take what I say to heart. You don't have to believe me, but just keep it in your mind and use it for your benefit. Common sense. I love you guys. Peace out. This PSA was brought to you by The Peter G Show. You may have second thoughts after this show.
Peter G Show. Peter G Show.